So normalize people talking about you, be it good or bad, as long as you don't understand Japanese. Hey guys, welcome back once again to my channel. As you all know, my name is Peace, and I want to welcome you specially to this channel, especially if this is your first time on this channel. Please subscribe to my channel, and to my old subscribers, thank you so much for your support so far. Thank you for the likes, the shares, the comments, thank you for the video ideas. Thank you so much. I really appreciate all your support. So today's topic is something that resonates with anyone that lives in the diaspora. So for a moment, I kind of paused and thought about my life in general, my life in this country so far. Like, I didn't believe that I would be able to live in a country where English is not the, official language, and a country where, the culture is very far from mine, a country where I would be the only black on the train, something like that. I didn't know that I could, live comfortably in this country. And because I had fears before coming to Japan, I had fears of how I would cope in a country such as this. But so far it's been good. So I took a moment to, think about my life so far. And this was because I spoke to someone in Nigeria, and this person was so interested to know why I moved to Japan. And at the end of the discussion, he was like, for you to live in a country like this, you must be very strong, you must be very brave. And I really did not think I was that strong and or brave, but after he said that, I began to think, and like, no, I think I'm strong. I think any black person living in this country that doesn't understand Japanese is actually a very strong person. We are strong. I mean, we have mind. Also, I thought it's wise to make this video for those that are preparing to come to Japan, or those that are in Nigeria that have been asking, how is it like living in this country? How is it like living in a country like Japan, where, people don't really know much about Japan. Actually, when I told people I was moving to Japan, they were really curious, like, why not the UK? Why not Canada? Why not America? Why Japan? So how is it like in Japan? So now they want to know how it is in Japan. There are a few things I have normalized living in this country. The first thing is like loneliness, being alone, away from friends and family. It's really not easy living far from your family, far from your friends, coming to a different country, learning the culture, working in that country, trying to navigate the country. I can't make friends easily because of the language, as usual, and my family is far from me. The time difference is another thing. If you want to talk to people in Africa, you have to be awake at midnight. I had always lived in Africa, Nigeria precisely, where my parents, in fact, I go see my parents every weekend from my house. So I really didn't think that I would have to feel their absence or the absence of my friends or those close to me. I really didn't really think about that. I was preparing to travel. I really did not take a minute to really say, oh, I will miss you all. Because right now, I am really missing all of them. The thing is, you'll be away from friends and family for a long time. So spend so much time with your friends and family before coming here. Another thing is, I have normalized feeling isolated, like feeling isolated, not fitting in. So when I used to work as an ALT in my school, there are times where, I would just be in the teacher's room working or doing something on my PC, and then I will see everyone going to the gym. So the gym is like a hall. It's where we have it's where they have their meetings or ceremonies, stuff like that. So I would just see everyone going to the gym, and I'll be alone in the teacher's room doing my work, minding my business. No one comes to you to tell you, okay, they do that occasionally. There is this teacher that tries to, carry me along, but sometimes she's not always available. So I'm always there on my own, working on my laptop, and I just see them going. And sometimes I don't blame them because I don't understand Japanese, and for them it's kind of difficult to speak English, and the English teachers are probably busy or something, so, or they forget to tell me, or I don't know, or they just feel like, she doesn't understand Japanese, let's not bother her, stuff like that. So I'm just alone. No one tells me anything. Everyone, they're all doing their stuff, and I'm just isolated. Also hanging out with friends. So I used to have some friends back then in my former city, and they all speak English. They all speak English, and they're all Asians. They all speak Japanese. So when we hang out together, sometimes I feel left out because they feel more comfortable speaking Japanese, just the way I'll be speaking English to a friend, trying to gist, and then I will have to, there's another person that doesn't understand English, and I have to, change or switch to another language to make the person understand. The flow was not there. So sometimes I just let them be. It's not their fault. It's no one's fault. You just can't fit in properly if you don't want to understand the language, and secondly, if you're not Japanese. So you can't really fit in. Sometimes you can't really fit into the society if you're not Japanese. You can't be fully accepted or fully regarded as a Japanese if you're not Japanese by birth. The only way you can be accepted if you are Japanese by birth, not even by marriage or by citizenship or something. You have to be fully Japanese. If you're not Japanese, or if you don't understand Japanese, you'd have to normalize being isolated or left out. I don't try to fit in. I just live my life, and it's no one's fault. They feel more comfortable talking or relating with Japanese, which I think it's normal. Another thing I have normalized is a quiet environment, being in a quiet environment and maintaining quiet in my environment. Anywhere I find myself, I just try not to make noise. It's normal. Normally, I don't even talk. I love to be on my own, but here it's on another level, like quiet. On the train is usually packed full, like especially on working days. I could be on the train with like 100 people and no one is saying anything. No one is talking. So if you're someone that likes noise and you're coming to Japan, you would have to adjust. You would have to, adjust. You don't make noise. And there was a time I was recording a video. My neighbors had to call me to tell me that I was making noise, so I had to reduce my voice. In fact, right now my voice is still low because I don't want them to call me. To normalize being in a quiet environment, and I kind of enjoy it though. In a way, I kind of enjoy it. I love being in a quiet environment because I don't like noise. Sometimes I find myself muting all the videos when I'm scrolling on Instagram. It's always on mute. My Instagram is always on mute. My TikTok always on mute. Like, I don't like noise. I'm gradually becoming a Japanese, and I wonder how I would cope in my country when I go back, because it's different there. Everyone is talking on the bus. You are gisting with the driver. You take an Uber, the driver is gisting you, telling you about his life history. You just have to chat with someone, and that has helped us a lot, because I know people that have gotten job offers by just chatting with people randomly. I know people that have gotten married. They meet someone and they just from talking to get married. Interacting with people is part of our culture. Here is different from the way it is in Africa. The next thing I have normalized is making Google my friend. Like, when I go out, especially when I go to the hospital, the only thing I speak, or the only Japanese I speak, is Ohayo gozaimasu, hi, daijoubu, arigato gozaimasu. So I just go to the hospital and I'm like, Ohayo gozaimasu, and the next thing I'm showing the receptionist my phone, and then she reads it, because I don't know, that's how it is. I don't speak fluent Japanese, and even when I speak Japanese, the response I get is usually too much. Like, the Japanese they speak back at me is usually too much, so I can just go and just speak the Japanese I have learned, and then they're like, arimasu ka? And then I'll be like, Nihongo chotto dake, eigo okay. So Japanese is one of the most difficult languages in the world, so learning it is just not so easy. I only learn from my students, and I know I'm not supposed to speak Japanese, but in my new school, they don't really care. It's a bilingual school, so sometimes my students speak Japanese to me. I only encourage them to say it in English, or I respond in English. But when they speak, I then ask, what are they saying? What's the meaning of this? And I kind of learn. I'm learning. So yeah, but then I have normalized using Google for communicating with Japanese citizens. So the next thing I have normalized is not eating my local food anymore. I know there are some few stores that sell African food, but you can't find the main thing you're looking for. So sometimes I crave my Nigerian food, those native food. I crave that a lot. Yeah, I have normalized eating the food I find here, the Japanese food. I also cook my food, my native food here, but not like the main native food, if you know what I mean. So another thing I want to talk about, though this does not apply to me, it's not my experience, I haven't experienced it, but this is something that I hear my friends say, and that is the work culture. So in Japan, if you are working for a Japanese company, you would have to normalize working for longer hours sometimes, and also going out to have drinks with your bosses or your colleagues. Also, you have to normalize looking a certain way. So I have a friend that works for a Japanese company, and he tells me every morning they check his beard, they check if he has his face towel, if he has his face mask. They have a checklist. They have to check that. I mean, this is an adult, not a child. He also checks his colleagues too, so it's not just him. That's what they do in the company. It's just part of the morning routine. You're expected to look a certain way, and because it's Japan, you have to follow the rules. Also, for my friends that don't like to hang out after work, they just want to go home and sleep, but because the company says every Friday you have to go out with your boss, you have to have drinks, and which I think it's okay, because it's a way of getting to know your bosses and colleagues. It's just a way, I think it's just okay. It's a way to relax too. Where I think there is a problem is where those that refused are kind of isolated or seen in a bad way, like seen as bad people because they refuse to go out with their colleagues or bosses. So they're being treated, in a different way. That is where I think there is a problem. Another thing about the work culture is that you can't say no. You can't always say your mind, and you can't say no. There's a saying that obey before complain, but here it's obey and never complain. I express myself regardless of the culture, regardless of where I am. As long as I am being polite, I think it is justified. Because I am a foreigner, it's not really a big deal, because they know that this person is a foreigner. So I try to say my mind, I try to express myself respectfully, and regardless, I still have that in mind that this is Japan. You don't always say things the way they are. My place of work, foreigners are being respected, our opinions are being respected, which is one of the things I enjoy about working for my company. So I don't really experience all of this. That is the language barrier. I have normalized that I may be in the midst of 1,000 people and don't understand their language, which is Japanese. So it's normal to me. All I do is mind my business. And for those that speak English, that want to practice English, I don't try to engage them. If they come to me, I respond. I also try to speak the Japanese that I know. I try to speak the little Japanese that I know, but it's normal. I don't understand Japanese. So when I go anywhere, to the bank, to the hospital, I just use my phone, and it's not really good, but that's how I survive. That is how I have been living my life until maybe I am fluent in Japanese. But for now, I don't understand the language, and I have normalized that. So normalize people talking about you, be it good or bad. As long as you don't understand Japanese and you can't speak Japanese, you can't understand them, and you can't even defend yourself. You can't, explain yourself, nothing. So living in Japan could be a struggle, especially if you don't understand Japanese, but there is always a way. There is always a way out. Technology has made it very easy. So very easy. There was a time I took the wrong train, or I went to the wrong platform, and because I had tapped my card, I couldn't go out of that platform. It was on a Sunday. Those train workers, they were not there. All I had to do was just push a button, and then someone somewhere spoke to me. They didn't understand English, and I was like, Nihongo wakarimasen, shimasen, ego okay. And they were like, okay, English okay. Like, they attended to me irrespective of the language barrier. All I had to do was place my card somewhere. They asked me, card left, place, okay, tap. I just followed the instruction. They communicated with the little English they knew. And before you know it, I was out of the platform. I ran to the next platform, caught my train, and went home. So it's very convenient actually living in Japan despite not knowing how to speak Japanese. It's still convenient. So for those that are still skeptical about moving to Japan and they keep asking me how is it like living in Japan, I just explained to you how it is. Some things may not really go well with you, you know, some things may not really suit you because of your inability to speak Japanese and because you're not Japanese. But other way, like I said, there is always a way. The only thing I do is to mind my business, obey the rules, and be polite, be respectful, do your job, be diligent, just be a good person, and no one is gonna have issues with you. I am living comfortably. No one is in my business. I'm not in anyone's business. I live my normal life here, and you know, like I said, I had to pause to think because I didn't even realize that, you know, you're actually black. Your culture is actually different from this culture. So I don't feel the difference. So I don't really feel the difference anymore because I have accepted some of these things and I have adjusted to like the culture. So that's just it. So I hope I have been able to explain how it is to live in a country like Japan as an African. So I have come to the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like, share and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you again in my next video. Bye for now.